People, we're out here cheering Jared on. Let's go, Jared. Hey, buddy. Now, how we doing today? What's going on? Here we are at another day zero. Okay? Hey, can you tell I'm getting better at this thing right here? This is my third cycle in this, okay? So we first did it out with the 30-day sketchbook, and I didn't even know if we could do that. Not you guys. I knew you guys could do it. I didn't know if I could do a video every day, you know. I had no idea. I thought maybe I'd run out of stuff to say after the third day. You just don't know, you know. And then I was, you know, said, hey, that first 30 days went okay. Changed my life. You know, I put this whole schedule in the beginning, you know. The whole schedule in the beginning of my day. So I make a video, chit-chat it up, and then edit it together, and then put it out, and then go on with the rest of my day, you know. So then I said, hey, that went all right. Then we went for the second 30 days, which we just finished. How about that? Watercolor. And that went great. That was awesome. And now we're here at our third 30-day challenge. We're going to get some head. That's what we're doing. We're doing a 100+ head challenge. Get some head, people. That's what we're doing. And we'll probably end up doing more than 100, you know, 100 heads this month. And like I said, I got the idea from Will West Studio and some other teachers that really do the 100 head challenge in a semester. And we'll do it in a month, but also we'll do more than 100 heads, okay? So that's pretty exciting. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm excited about that. First of all, how you doing? How are you doing? For those people that are new, we always start out with this how you doing kind of thing. Glad you're here. Take a breath. Relax a little bit. You're in the art zone, okay? You're gonna put the day away for a minute, all right? You're gonna take a deep breath, stretch your back out, pull your shoulders back, get a little few pops in there in his whole spine, get it nice and aerated, bend around, and let go of the responsibilities and the burdens of the day just for a couple minutes. Just for a couple minutes. We say, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. Check in with yourself, okay? We check 3 things, all right? We check to make sure the fire in our boiler is still stoked, right? Is your fire still stoked? Are you excited about the day? Are you passionate? Are you looking forward to something? If not, throw some coal in there. Stoke that fire. You know what I mean? Are you looking forward for some ice cream maybe? Maybe you are. Maybe you're looking forward to some sushi. I don't know. Or some noodles or steak. I don't know. You know, if not, stoke your fire. Go find something visually that excites you. You know, go grab a book or something. Frame perspective, you know. I just love this guy's artwork in here. You know what I'm saying? I look at that all the time. It gets me excited. Get a new book. Get a new piece of art. Go find a new artist. Download some more art from Twitter, X, Instagram, whatever. You know, get excited about something. Feed the passion in your heart, the visual passion. Maybe you want to go look at some fine art or something. I don't know. Or a sunset. Take a walk. Find something that you can get excited about, that can ignite your passion, and then feed yourself with it. Okay, that's number 1. Stoke that fire. Okay? The second thing we always do is we say, hey, lock that critical eye in the hole. When you're not using him, when he's not your ally, we talked last time about how to make him your ally. When you're not using them, lock them in your hole so your mind can be free of that criticism that comes from your super ego. Because that's what the critical eye is. It's your super ego. We're going to get all deep and stuff in here. Don't worry, we're not. We're going to hit the reverse button and back out of that. We're not going to talk about that, all of that psychology and philosophy and stuff. But I'm just saying that's what it is. It's a super ego. Keep them locked in the hole. How do you do that? Well, you implement a tool I like to call impulse control. You got me? You tell that superego, you tell that critical eye, not right now. You can bug me in 30 minutes, but not right now. And you keep doing that. Every time he bugs you, not right now. I'm busy. You can bug me in 30 more minutes. In 30 minutes, you can bug me. That's how you keep him in the hole, okay? And then the final thing we check with is, how is your schedule? Is your schedule aligned to what your goals are? Where you want to move yourself? Because your schedule is how you move yourself through the world, through time, how you get closer to your goals. You don't say, hey, you know what? I want to be a captain on a pirate ship, and then go spend the rest of your life, pouring concrete. That ain't gonna get you close to being the captain on a pirate ship. You know, you got to make goals. You got to move towards a port city. You got to learn how to captain a ship or steer a ship. You got to get a parrot. You know, you got to get a sword and a hook. And then you got to get some scallywags. You know, get a gold tooth or something. You know, you got to have these as mile markers so you get closer to your goal, so that you are that pirate captain. You know, that's where we want to be. So check in with yourself. We're doing this goal for 30 days, so your schedule should be 30 minutes a day, right? After we click off this video or whatever. Or hell, maybe you do your drawing while I'm talking and you're listening to me on the video, and you're just doing your drawing and doing double duty, listening and drawing at the same time. That's possible. But set aside 30 minutes, because that's all this is designed for. Because we're busy people around here. We got shit to do, professional things to accomplish. We got ice cream to eat, you know? Just 30 minutes a day. Get in, get out, you know? And that's how we do it. That's your schedule. So is your schedule aligned to your goals, you know? And I call that your internal locus of control. Those three things encapsulated together is your internal locus of control. That's how you drive your life where you want it to go, so it makes you happy, okay? That's what it's all about. You know, art is a tangible expression of abstract thought organization. Think about that. When you barf out your drawings, that's what your thoughts look like, okay? So you barf out chaos, you got to start getting that in order. And the way you get it in order is you get your mind in order. When your mind gets in order, when you barf out your drawings, they start to get in order too. So it's actually like a reflection, a mirror, or a way to judge how ordered your thought process is, okay? And that thought process is important, because that thought process hits on a whole bunch of emotions, a whole bunch of internal world, you know, trauma-filled world. You know, you got to do a lot of things. There's this concept of Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you've heard of that. I'll try to flash it up here. But you got to take care of your basic needs. You know, like you're hungry, you're thirsty, you got to breathe. You know, if you can't breathe, you can't do art, right? Then you got to take care of like security needs. You need a place to live. You need a place to feel comfortable, you know. Then the next is you got to take care of your social needs. You know, you got to meet the needs of your relationships. You know, if you have children or your spouse or girlfriend or whatever. Your friends, you got to have your social needs met so you're full. And then the top on the block of the pyramid, the capstone, is your artistic creative enlightenment. You got to get all that other shit in order first, and before you can go ahead and pour out that top capstone. And I referred to that last time as your emotional plumbing. You know, you got to get your emotional plumbing right. Some pipes could be broken. Some could be clogged. Maybe some are too small. Maybe you're keeping that little pipe that you had when you were a child, and it needs to be replaced with a much larger pipe as an adult. There's this saying that the strategies we use as children to survive are the exact same strategies, if implemented when adults, that destroy our adult life. Let me say that a little simpler. Whatever you use to get through childhood, if you use that same technique in adulthood, it ain't gonna work. Think about it. It'll kill you. It'll kill your relationships. It'll kill your ability to move through society. It'll kill everything. So you need to upgrade that. All right? Now, I'll say one more thing, then we'll move on, right? Because, you know, bits and pieces is the best way to do it. You don't want to eat that cake, the whole thing at one time, man. You don't want to, you know, get a little sip of that coffee real quick. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to ask yourself this question. This is a serious question now. Have you made an agreement with yourself to tell yourself the truth at all times? If not, you got to make that agreement. You got to tell yourself that you're not going to lie to yourself. You're going to be honest with yourself. You're going to be truthful with yourself. That's the fork in the road, people. That's the fork in the road. So check in with yourself. Now, a little story. I remember I was about 9 or 10. I was sitting in the back of my parents' car, and we were sitting in a parking lot somewhere. And I remember thinking about the fact that I could manipulate people if I wanted to. That I had the wherewithal at that age to pull over and the wool over people's eyes, and they wouldn't be able to fathom that I did that to them, and I would get over on them. And I didn't like the way it felt when I thought about it. I didn't like the way it felt thinking that I would deceive my mom and deceive my family. I didn't like that feeling. So I said to myself, you know, I'm never going to do that. I had witnessed it in my life through different people when I was a kid, and I didn't like the way that they looked when they did it, and I didn't like the way that they felt. And I said, I'm never going to do that. I'm always going to be honest with myself no matter what. I made that agreement, and then I lived by it for the most part. So make that agreement with yourself, okay? Be honest with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. First and foremost in your artwork, and then in the rest of your life. Okay, that's the way you're going to improve in everything, okay? That's the first step in the path of enlightenment, the first step in the path of becoming a master at something. That's it right there. People who choose the other position have a skewed vision of what it really is to be a master, or what it really is and means to be a king or to get attention. They see all the perks, but they're completely unaware of the accountability and the responsibility and the burden that comes along with it. Completely unaware of that. And in fact, they couldn't stand a tenth of the weight of that. They would crumble because they can't handle pressure at all. What kind of person you want to be? You want to be somebody that's dependable, that can handle pressure, and that can deliver? You want to be the quarterback? Or you want to be some person that walks around pretending that they're bigger than they are, but they can't deliver? All they can do is tease and lie. Yeah, let's not be that person. So fuck that shit. Let's go ahead and throw it out on the side. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about what we're going to get into here, okay? We're going to get into some excellent stuff, all right? Now, first of all, I want to talk about the supplies we're going to use. Now, this is one of my favorite kind of challenges because you basically can use whatever you want. We're going to use writing implements, okay, people? Hell, you can even use watercolor if you want to. But we're going to use markers. You know, I got some brush pens right here. I'm going to throw all the links down in the description if you want any of the stuff that I'm going to use. I'm going to use alcohol markers. I'm going to get some Sharpies. I'm going to use some just standard Sharpies sometimes. You know, just normal Sharpies. I'm going to get some, you know, I'm going to get a couple markers that are retarded fat. You know, that you would not even use normally. You know, I don't know who uses them. Maybe construction people. I don't know. Graffiti people. We're going to use some alcohol markers. You know, I got some of these bad boys right here. I got some other ones, you know. We're going to use some acrylic markers, some Posca markers. And there's different kind of brands. I'll throw the links that I use down below. But you can go ahead and get them at Walmart or the dollar store or, you know, whatever works for you. The point being is we're going to use cheapo things to make some great art, right? We're going to take this and we're going to turn lead into gold, basically. We're going to become Rumpelstiltskin. We're going to spin that straw into gold. We're going to become alchemists, if it were. We're going to turn that lead into gold, right? And in the process, we're going to turn our internal sides from what they are right now into gold. That's the true alchemy here, you know. If you're not familiar with alchemy, it just means a process by which to change. And there's a whole bunch of other shit that goes along with it, but that's basically it in a nutshell, okay? So get yourself some materials, and I'm going to use my favorite, my Canson sketchbook right here, mixed media. All right. Now this is 11 by 14. 98-pound weight paper, 160 grams for those of you in the EU. I'll put the link down below too, but I love Canson paper. It's out of France. You know, there's a lot of other ones that I like too, like B papers is a good one here in America. I love that one too, the B notebooks. So all those links will be down below. But of course, you can use whatever you want. If you want to use legal paper, you want to use scratch paper, or you're at work and you can steal yourself a thick brick of printer paper, go for it, man. That's how we do around here. We, like I said, we turning that lead into gold. We spinning that straw on a gold thread like old Rumpelstiltskin did. That's what we're doing. Now, I figured, you know, with the design time to be 30 minutes, we'll just go ahead and say we're going to do 5 minutes ahead, okay? So we can do 5 minutes ahead times 30 minutes times 30 days is about 180 heads. But I figure we'll do more because the format that we're going to do when we approach this, we're going to do 1, 2, and 5 minute heads. And you're thinking, wow, why would we do 1 minute heads? Well, it's a lot of fun. It really forces you to focus on the important parts in the very beginning, like the position and the proportion. And then as you get better at it, you can abstract that and put in different abstract shapes in order to do that, and it's a lot of fun. And then it becomes super easy when you get to the 5 minute mark and you're like, I got so much time I could read a book and still draw a head. So we're going to do that, okay? Now we're going to focus on head construction strategies. We're going to go from simple to complex. We're going to really focus on this being an intuitive drawing, okay? Now what does that mean? That means allowing our emotions to aid us in how we draw. Now, of course, I could get my ruler out here real quick. You know, I got a couple of these rulers, and I could measure it all out, get my, you know, third in the head, and then 5 eyes wide and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, that takes a lot of time. It's also a lot of emotional pressure for me. I feel like I'm constrained every time I have to do that, and I have to use those tools to do that. So I really wanted to develop an approach where I could look down and my eyes would feel, does that feel right? Does that feel right? Do the eyes need to be wider? Do they need to be narrower? And that allows me to really like go a lot faster through the drawing because I don't have to put the ruler down, move it, and so on and so forth. And so that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Okay? We're going to use simple shapes, and I'm going to show you the simple shapes inside of the head that I use for proportion or whatever in order to, you know, get it right. And then how I, you know, every cycle I go through drawing it, you know, first you have the land, then you have the shapes, and then you have the anatomical and so on and so forth. You refine it and refine it and refine it and tighten that net up until you got what you want. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to also work on head positions, profile, 3/4 straight on. Then we're also going to do head in perspective. That's going to be great. And we're going to focus on the feature shapes. We're going to focus on standardization of those feature shapes when we do the simplified shapes in the construction phase. And then how do we change it and make it more specific. Now, I know that might be a lot, right? That might be a lot. Don't worry. You're not even going to know you're doing it when we're doing it, okay? That's how we're going to do it. That's how I got it worked out. Now, here's what you're going to pay attention to when we're doing this. So you're going to be working on all this in the background, and you're not even going to know it. But I'm going to have this 30 days structured and set up so that you practice these things subconsciously, okay? Now, the themes that we're going to do, now this is what I want you to pay attention to. We're going to have the themes of bugs, aliens, you know, different cartoons like the Hanna-Barbera or Bugs Bunny or whatever. We're going to do At the Office, pirates, hookers. You know, we're going to do garbage men. We're going to do, you know, different comics, maybe like the Marvel, DC, or independent comics, you know. We're going to do anime. We're going to go demons, mechanics. And if you guys have any good ideas for a theme that you think you would want to do, throw them at me. And if they're great, we'll work them in, if they're doable, okay? So it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we're also going to do it where we're going to make the heads have a conversation after we draw the heads. That's going to be pretty fun. And we're going to work on our creativity in that aspect too, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do today. Okay, we're gonna get a baseline. Okay, I want you to take your sketchbook. It's day 0. All right, take your sketchbook and draw yourself 5 or 10 heads. That's it. Just grab a page out of here and draw yourself 5 or 10 heads. Okay, so here I got, you know, my sketchbook, and I drew. I just drew a couple. Now I did this a while ago. This isn't recent or anything like that. But just draw yourself a couple heads. And it can be really simple if you want to as well. I got some more simplified version of just some features or whatever. But just draw something, 5 or 10 heads, and we'll get a baseline. Try for 10 if you have time. If not, do 5. And we'll get a baseline of where we're at, so that when we hit the 30-day mark, you can look back and see how much you improved. Now, I'm excited about this. Also, I'm stoked about that intro. How about that intro? Wasn't that fire? That intro was fire. So special shout out to Ryan Harkness. I really appreciate you making those loops for me. Those loops are awesome. They make me giggle every time I hear them. So that's what it's all about. Fueling that fire, stoking that fire. Okay, people? So get out there, get after it, get those 5 or 10 heads, and let's go. Come on. Day 0, people.